Transmitting to you from Old Heart Radio.
Go. Oh,
cheers, sir.
Cheers.
Always good to be not in the same room. We are once again recording Matinee Edition remotely, but this is Matinee Edition 99.
Yeah, dude, that was just that's the
holy shit.
It's kind of a big deal. We're on the precipice of something that only one other podcast has achieved on Old Heart Radio.
What's the other one? Oh, Coffee Contemplation?
Yeah, dude. Well, Coffee and Contemplation's technically like almost up. I think it's like a 130 or something like that. But
really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
But we're about to hit 100 with the next
decaying
episode.
Corpse of Coffee and Contemplation.
No way, man. It'll make a triumphant comeback. Just it's just so hard to find time these days, man. Like it's fucking.
I half expected like you to come and be like, yeah, you snooze you news cracked like 200 episodes.
No, Jesus, no. You snooze you news was so hard to like keep going.
Maybe that's a good Instagram post. Keep that in the back burner.
You snooze you news. Yeah, because I mean, but you know, it's anyway. This
C-rap.
Oh god, dude, C-rap. I wish we could find a way to make I just don't have enough time in the day to like get all these. There's so many great ideas that we have with Old Heart Radio. We have C-rap. We have
is C-rap a great idea?
C-rap. Okay, you got to change the name because then nobody laughs at the name, including me.
It was terrible.
You got to change the name, and the format's fucking awesome. It's just somebody reading lyrics out of context over like an obnoxious sound, basically.
Yeah, I think that was fucking ridiculous.
That pretty much sums it up.
You texted me, you're like, hey, new podcast, I have an idea, and I was like, all right, man. And the first episode came out and I listened to it. I was like, I'm never going to listen to another one.
No, that's the crap that people avoid.
It's a C-rap some people avoid.
Oh my god. Anyway, so it's like that, and then we've had like what other ideas? So the Gilmore Girls podcast idea is still floating around.
I think that would be pretty funny, man.
That one's a reality that I want to make happen. Like no joke. I am saying it. Old Heart Radio promise there will be a Gilmore Girls podcast in the future.
Maybe one a year.
One episode a year.
We can record it as the year changes on New Year's Eve into New Year's Day.
Oh
Gilmore
my god.
Girls.
It's a Gilmore, a season recap of a season of Gilmore Girls. What do you do to do New Year's Day? You're hungover anyway. Oh my god, dude, that'd be fucking fun. But you know, like that's the beauty of this. I mean, like this started off in one place, and we've created this like steam. You know, with Matinee Edition, we've created like the same thing that happened.
Arnold's, you guys are fucking moving.
Yeah, dude. Me and David are like we keep talking about that, like how we're almost coming up on a year of recording that already.
Yeah.
As well as like we're about to hit 50 with that. You know what I mean? Like that shit's nuts to me. But like I'm just grateful, man. Like I'm grateful that we keep it going. I'm grateful that like, you know, people keep listening. Hot dogs are turning into corn dogs every day. All right. Like
every hour, every day.
Yeah. All across the globe, we have listeners technically.
Really?
It's always fascinating to look at.
What's the strangest place we have listeners?
I mean, I don't know off the top of my head right now, but we've had listeners in like Russia, Ukraine, like
Russia,
like Australia, New Zealand, you know, like Indonesia. We've had.
That's crazy.
I really hope somebody from Indonesia was like, oh, this says coffee and contemplation. What's this about? And they clicked it on, and it was just not what they wanted. But that being said, it's dear crazy.
Listeners, please go to the Instagram. Please follow and like and comment on everything. And while you're there, please leave a comment saying what hot dog is in your language.
Oh, there you go.
Or just call us fat Americans. It's all the same.
Yeah. If you are an international listener, that's a great idea, man. I fucking love it. But but that brings me full circle back to this, like episode 99 on the cusp of turning triple digits. Like,
dude,
it's some greatness, man. And what
Dude.
do we got to start it with?
Oh, there's one way. Oh, that's the only way to start Matinee Edition. The gaming minute. This is a brief one. Once again, feeding into the ridiculous hype that is this holiday season in gaming. There's so much good shit.
Yeah.
Gotham Knights is coming out October 2nd, I believe.
Ooh.
It is the Bat Family game where supposedly Bruce Wayne is dead. Big quotes.
Big quotes.
Big air quotes on that one. And he sort of leaves the mantle to Nightwing, Robin, Tim Drake, Robin, Red Hood, and Barbara Gordon. So to take over and fill the void that Batman left. So it looks like a spiritual successor of sorts to the Arkham games.
Okay.
Oh,
that's what I thought too. Yeah.
They've already confirmed it's not in the same universe, which is interesting because it picks up a nearly direct plot thread after Arkham Knight, where Batman fakes his own death. The only difference.
Why not tie them together at that point? Then?
I know, but the only difference is that Jim Gordon is also dead, which definitely didn't happen in Arkham Knight.
Okay.
So, but it looks like the main villains are the Court of Owls, and which is a fun concept. And it looks like you're going to be fucking around with a bunch of different villains. There was some gameplay from like a year or two back, right when they announced it, with featuring a Mr. Freeze based level.
Ooh.
And the descriptions that they've put out seem interesting, like that. You can sort of choose to go in whichever direction you want based on character. You can sort of bounce around, but each of them has a unique skill tree that gets bolstered by putting more time in with them.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. That's interesting. So, like, I mean, I imagine like Nightwing would be like really acrobatic. So, like, if you need to be jumping around,
they show that in the trailers. He's way more acrobatic,
okay.
And Red Hood is completely range based.
That makes sense.
Yeah, Tim Drake is stealth, and it looks like Batgirl is like essentially Batman from the Arkham games, like a bit more up close and like sort of a mix of all of them.
Fuck yeah. Okay.
So I think it's interesting, and I'm excited to see what comes from it. It's not being developed by Rocksteady, who did the Arkham games, but apparently a lot of the team has crossed over to it.
Okay, well, cool. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, I remember seeing it like when they announced it and being like, and just thinking like it immediately was probably part of that game series. But
yeah, so did I. Rocksteady's too busy making that Suicide Squad game, which just got delayed. Actually, it was
the one that's like Suicide Squad kills the Justice League or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up with that fucking thing?
So it got delayed to spring of 23. It was supposed to also come out during the holidays, which would have been fucking crazy. I think it's a mix of stepping on Gotham Knights' toes and it probably needing a bit more time in the oven. So I'm not complaining there.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's already so much shit to play.
There's gonna be a lot going on this holiday season, man. It's like, I mean, because there's, you got the Hogwarts Legacy coming out. You got the all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games coming out.
The real world breakers on that one.
But yeah, that's cool, man. Like, I wonder what the actual like storyline will end up being throughout that game. I mean, it seems like
an interesting choice for Court of Owls as well.
Well, yeah, because particularly like it seems like the Court of Owls, whenever there's like a storyline that starts, it's like their aim at Bruce Wayne or some element of like the Waynes, so to have him kind of off the table and having like his descent, his kids essentially, having to deal with the problems, kind of interesting.
I think the setup is fascinating because, I mean, if the initial Court of Owls story was all about Batman being like at his best, but even this thing is completely foreign to him and he had no idea it exists.
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating that they're changing the angle So I assume like they're going to be capable heroes essentially. But just while they're getting their footing, I'd imagine the Court of Owls is like, all right, Batman had been keeping us at bay, maybe like trying to avoid getting the kids riled up into this.
Yeah.
And now we take over now that he's gone.
Yeah. Now we make the move.
Exactly.
Yeah, damn. I mean, it's a great concept. Like ever since it got introduced, it's been popping up in more and more, I think, opportunities for like other mediums and stuff in terms of like what they're doing with Batman and his characters. So that's fucking cool. Yeah, I can't wait to actually see. I might actually pick up that game because I've never played.
It's gonna be multiplayer
games,
as well.
But
it's the first one where you can choose like different characters, and if you're not playing the same one, you can just sort of hop into a session. Apparently,
that's dope, dude.
Run around with people.
I'm into that. That'd be fucking cool.
That'd be fucking great. I can imagine having a 4-stack and just everybody being a different member of the Bat family and just fucking rolling people. It'd be great.
Yeah, that sounds dope. Oh man, yeah, I might have to pick that one up when it comes out this holiday season.
This is a game mechanic thing as well. I'm okay with it because if they tried to shoehorn some like PvP bullshit into that, I'd be livid. But if it's just like cooperative players where you're just given some like non-playables and some like random additional enemies and just like scale it up more and more as you have more players on your team. Yeah. So you can just start fucking rolling people and just mowing down these random enemies. It's one of the things, not to go back to one of my favorite games, but Destiny. It's one of the things Destiny's been nailing lately is you're a ridiculously powerful character. So they just throw a ton of shit at you and it reinforces that power fantasy.
Yeah.
Imagine like being the Bat family and you're just absolutely at the top of your game and just taking everything that's thrown at you.
Yeah, just going through 50 owls from the court.
Yeah, exactly. I think like they have a really good chance to sort of mix what was really cool with the combat style and the rhythm-based combat of the Arkham games with that power fantasy and that cooperative nature. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Interesting. Hell yeah. Well, fuck yeah, dude. But I I believe that probably transitions us into like a nice, healthy, like easy transition into something you want to talk about.
Fruit. Low bearing fruit, sir. The Batman is officially getting 2 sequels. It is going to be a trilogy.
Shit, I did not hear that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a trilogy.
Okay. I knew I'd heard about this like definite sequel, but a trilogy I think is a great fucking idea.
I think so too. Matt Reeves, you still haven't seen it, so I'm going to avoid spoilers other than the fact that there's a sequel. So it sucks Batman doesn't die in the end.
Sorry, kids. Batman doesn't die.
Yeah, the self-entitled film doesn't pull Logan.
Fair enough.
So I think so Matt Reeves expressed interest in specifically one character for the sequel. He said that he wants to approach some of the more mythical and more intense, like and less grounded, let's say, Batman characters and figure out a way to make them work in the context of this really grounded, more detective-centric universe that he's come up with. His first idea was Mr. Freeze.
I mean, that would be incredible. I will say this: one of the best like Mr. Freeze moments comes from Batman the Animated Series, where there's this 2-part episode. I believe it's called Heart of Ice.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Shoot me if I'm fucking wrong. But it is like this really
ice cold heart.
And it's this really beautiful fucking like couple episodes about the tragedy of this dude and his like love and his his wife and like these people and it's I think that'd be fucking incredible, and that would be a really good character to try to breach, then make this like equally fantastic in a way, but also like it's a very humanizing character. The other one is Harvey Dent, if you really fucking ask
Harvey
me.
Dent would be great
Because that's the other guy that like constantly, like I think those characters in terms of Batman's rogues gallery, they like he has a spot for them, like like kind of like this soft spot where he understands the tragedy of their lives,
And I think we saw, I think Harvey Dent in The Dark Knight was really cool.
Oh,
But there was so little of it, you know?
Yeah, they really just never flushed it out enough.
I think like it was getting there. And the stuff we
Mhm.
saw with Harvey Dent before he became Two-Face was really cool.
Mhm.
But it felt like that should have been part of the Dark Knight Returns, you know?
For sure.
Like it should like when they killed him off at the end, I was like, it's a bit too soon. You
It
know, you
was,
want to see the unhinged, a bit more of the unhinged Harvey Dent.
yeah,
So
I agree. I definitely agree there.
yeah, so I think Harvey Dent's good. And I think if they do Mr. Freeze for the sequel, I
Mhm.
think Poison Ivy would be an equally interesting thing.
Yeah, but here's the danger zone.
Huh.
That's exactly the cast of Batman and Robin.
Oh, you're
So
right.
Mr. Freeze played by
But
Arnold
what
Schwarzenegger,
I
Poison
what I
Ivy by
love
Uma
those
Thurman.
balls, you know, like the balls, the
I mean,
huge testicles of Matt Reeves to bring back the exact same Rogues Gallery and do it well.
I mean, it would be so fucking cool if that was the case, to be honest. Like
Yeah,
just the idea of like of it would be, yeah, I would be there for it for sure.
yeah.
But I
In
think if you,
concept sounds good, but it might be too much.
yeah, and to be honest, like I will say this, I think you're right with Poison Ivy though. I think Poison Ivy is another one of those characters where, you know, if you play the right angles with the character, you can make it a sympathetic, make that character sympathetic.
Oh yeah. I mean,
But
back to the Arkham games.
mm,
In Arkham Knight, she dies helping Batman save the city.
yeah, okay. See,
And it's like she is a very like neutral character and everything. She
mhm.
cares more about the green than Batman, you know?
Yeah, and that's what they need to get back to with that character is like
Yeah.
there's been different interpretations of that character where it's like that starts as a motivation and then it
Yeah.
completely disappears. But
And the
if
Harley
that,
Quinn show does a good job with that.
oh, absolutely, actually, shockingly, like they do a really, I mean,
They
that
even
show's
do a really
fucking
good job.
fucking
They even
great
do a
anyway.
really
But
good job with Mr. Freeze, talking about the tragedy of it. You've seen season 2, right?
yeah, I agree. And again, so it's like, again, you know, it can kind of work in all these characters work in these in
Yeah.
different formats. So I think it would be a great opportunity to try to do that. I would worry though about trying to do, like I said, both of them in one,
Yeah.
because
I would
not
imagine
because
like
of
one or like how they did it in the Batman, they balanced the villains really well
mm,
because the Riddler was the star of the show and the others just sort of fleshed everything out.
yeah,
Yeah.
that would be ideal, because as we've seen with, you know, numerous other movies, including like Spider-Man 3, the
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3,
You
know,
can't try and occupy the same amount of light.
no, and you end up with sacrificing characters, you know,
Yeah.
and but that'd be fucking cool.
You know, do you have a specific villain that's yet to appear on screen that that you would enjoy seeing?
Oh yeah, I mean, oh for sure. I've always loved, and I mean, a lot of this comes from, it really comes from my love of the animated series as
Yeah.
but characters like Killer Croc,
Yeah.
like a proper Batman Killer Croc, like it's
Not
a
Suicide Squad.
no, and but it'd be like a good throw, like you said, kind of like, you know, flesh out the setting character.
Yeah.
But most importantly, the Clock King would be
Hmm.
really fucking awesome, because the Clock King's really cool because it's this dude, and again, this is like, I loved the interpretation of this from the animated series. It's this dude who has he lives by his clock. He's always
Yeah.
on time. Everything's like precise. And one day everything just fucking falls apart. Like
Yeah.
life goes wrong and he just fucking like loses everything. And from there he like becomes this menacing villain where he like precisely times everything, and Batman has to like, you know, bounce around that. It's really cool. That character, or another throwaway character, Man-Bat's like another.
Man-Bat was in Arkham Knight.
Man-Bat's
like
a cool character, dude, and like a tragic character also. Like,
yeah.
So,
you know, I have a few ideas. I've talked about Hush enough on this podcast. So I'll leave that
Hush,
there. Go listen to a previous episode.
Hush would be a good one for sure.
This is not my main choice, but I think the Pig would be a good one, especially following the very serial killer based vibes of the Riddler. But I think that would be a good secondary one, just sort of seeing that maybe starting the film with Batman apprehending the Pig, show how he's become more adept
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. I was like, that character would be a great use to like establish how experienced Batman I think has gotten, like taking him out really quick or something,
But this sort of falls into the more mythical stuff that can be interestingly grounded. I would love to see Azrael.
That would be interesting. I mean, yeah, that character, Jean Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I find interesting is that, and they do a bit of this in Arkham Knight, and they do a bit of this in the Batman, where there is this fixation on the appearance of Batman and like what he means, and people misconstruing what Bruce Wayne was going for with the Batman. And it's definitely not spoil anything, but it's addressed in the Batman that not everyone's getting the message, and people are using it to validate their own perspectives.
Interesting.
So, and that immediately rings Azrael for me, because that's his whole thing, is that he sort of envies Batman to a point, wants to be his better follow-up, but does it wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that is ripe for picking, especially like, you won't be able to understand until you actually see the movie sort of what I'm going for in that sense.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Like, because that character, I think when he was brought on, it was right when, like in comics, it was like when Batman's back got broken by Bane.
Yeah.
And then he was kind of, and it was like almost like shocking. He was chosen as like the successor for the cowl for the short time. And then like, he like, ends up like, because he's also like follows this weird order. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah. It's like the Knights Templar or something like that.
Yeah. It's like something like akin to that. And it's like, and that like kind of pushes him to be like, like I can take this the full length,
Yeah. And another villain that they do some really cool stuff with in the Arkham games. So
yeah, it'd be interesting, man. Like, yeah, that's that's something that like other mediums really need to start doing, is a lot of these characters, like those characters have started getting flushed out. They're more modern characters that have been getting fleshed out, and like some of his rogues gallery, Batman's rogues gallery is well known, and so it's you ride this danger of like, how do we keep reinterpreting the same character, or should we like really start playing on these other popular characters that are just like, maybe they're not as mainstream known as the fucking Penguin, but they can be. Like, they're good characters and they could be those household fucking villain names,
And even if they never end up being those household villain names, I think that there is something, whether it's from like the fucking nerds first or the general public, about pulling some more niche characters out and doing it well. Like, I think that there's too much of a fixation in, and this goes into a discussion about like the nature of franchises and sequels. There's too much of a fixation on playing it safe with what people know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think there's a threshold that stuff has to cross before like you can actually start pursuing really different and creative like ideas. I think like Marvel may have crossed that at this point, where people see the logo and they have faith that what they're going to watch is good, even if it's slightly different. Yeah, I think we'll see Doctor Strange, and then we'll see how that works. And I don't know. I think hopefully the Batman is at that point where it's been received so well that even if like the focus isn't the Joker, which the Joker's in it, spoiler alert, and they do an interesting in the deleted scene that's out online that got released. Yeah, it's an interesting sort of Hannibal Lecter type vibe.
Yeah, and I think they would do really well to kind of like keep using that vibe. Don't make him a focus for like a Batman versus Joker movie,
Let him, I like the idea of them being like intellectual, like there's an intellectual respect between them.
Yeah. Well, and that's part of the overall relationship with those two characters, is that they go back and forth, somehow gravitating towards each other, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that
there's a very interesting animated film where it's after Batman dies. I think it's Death of the Family. It's the like choose your own adventure animated film, if I'm remembering right.
I haven't watched it, but I've seen it on the streamers.
Yeah. So I guess there's one ending where Batman dies, and I think who was it? It was fucking Red Hood. What's his name again? I'm forgetting.
Jason Todd.
Jason Todd. Yeah, Jason Todd goes to a diner and he's just talking with this guy, and then he's talking about this guy's therapy, and he's just a normal dude.
Hmm.
And then the guy he's like, "Hey, you want to hear a joke?"
Oh.
And he starts just very calmly telling the story of killing Robin to Jason Todd.
Oh.
And you start realizing, oh, this is the Joker. And he has no point of being the Joker anymore because Batman's dead. So,
That's
and then
yeah.
And then Jason grabs a knife, piece of silverware, and stabs him in the eye.
Fuck.
And then he gets out like one last laugh before dying. That's like how the movie ends.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
that's actually, to me, that is a homage to Frank Miller's The Batman. Actually,
that's what I thought.
Yeah, because there's that great scene where like when the Joker finally dies in that series, he dies with like a batarang in his fucking eye.
Yeah,
and like his like whole last thing is like Batman cracks his neck and he's like laughing. That's like the last laugh, right before he dies. It's fucking creepy, but that's super cool. Like, that, I mean, I just think that character at this point we don't need to see in action. Like we've
seen the head-to-head.
Yeah, we want something else from that relationship that he has, that the Joker has with the Bat family and Batman overall. But yeah, like that, I don't know. Like, I'm really interested to see, like, one sequel I thought was really cool, but I'm really interested to see what a trilogy will look like. Matt Reeves seems like, I don't know. It's interesting because it's like a similar quest to Christopher Nolan, but it's different at the same time. Where like Christopher Nolan was telling a Batman identity story, trying to be grounded in a real world. And I think what Matt Reeves seems to be doing is he's telling a Gotham like story with these characters like Batman and the Joker and the Penguin, and he's trying to tell this world story.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's not, I mean, it's grounded in the sense of there aren't like superhuman feats, like no one's coming out of the pit, but it is still existing in this Gotham that is an amalgamation of what we've seen before.
That's cool.
And it is an amalgamation of styles we've seen before. I mean, like I've already said a lot about the Arkham games on this podcast, but there is a few sequences in the Batman that I'm like, oh, Matt Reeves must have played the Arkham games.
Because, there had to be some influence.
Yeah, there had to be some influence. Him or like a cinematographer or a producer had to have played the Arkham games and been like, oh, there's some really cool, very like quintessential Batman ideas from these that are awesome. So it's like it really plays into Gotham as a character rather than Gotham as a place. So,
yeah, that's cool. Well, hell yeah. I'm interested to see how much more of that develops. I'll watch it eventually. I know it's coming on to HBO here soon.
I was thinking one of these times that I'm able to make it to Olympia, I was just going to get us tickets and drag you there to watch it.
I mean,
so maybe get away from all these ridiculous responsibilities for 3 hours.
Yeah, maybe. That seems like a hope and a dream.
Yeah, it's a bit of a fever dream, isn't it?
But
great way to give Jared an anxiety attack.
Yeah, make me try to relax. Well, I mean, what else is going on? I know, like, I wanted to throw out, I told you about this show briefly.
Yeah.
But I've been watching this show sort of in my downtime. It's on Netflix right now. It's called Old Enough,
which is a strange title, and you refuse to elaborate on what this show is about before the podcast. So I'm intrigued.
So I'm gonna read you like the Netflix blurb. Children go on errands all by themselves for the very first time as a camera crew follows along in this beloved long-running reality show from Japan. So
what is this?
It is like a show where like parents will send their like the first episode, it's like a 2-year-old. They send this 2-year-old to go to the grocery store and pick up some items all by themselves and come back.
What the fuck?
And the kid just bumbles around and like sometimes does it right and stuff. It's just fucking hilarious. And apparently it's
funny.
It's just like, it's apparently this is like
long running show. It gives me the vibes of like, have you seen those videos where like little kids like snowboarding or playing hockey and they got them mic'd up? You can just like hear the weird shit the kid's saying while he's like bumbling around.
Pretty much. It's just like that. It's just like I said, like the first episode that they send out this 2-year-old that goes
crazy.
that walks a kilometer to the store and picks up 3 things and then walks a kilometer back, and like, you know, like in the meantime, like I think like at one point the kid like finds like a giant stick and like, you know, picks that up, and like it's just stupid shit, stupid humor, but it's really funny because it's like it's just like it's like presented to you like a Japanese game show where it's like, you know, like the music's crazy, like the font they use for like everything is just wild and like, you know, pops on, and like you're just like, what is happening? Old enough. But yeah, so, you know, it's like each episode's like 10 minutes long maybe, so it's just really like a quick fun stupid watch.
So that's what Jared's watching.
Yeah, that's what I'm watching. It's fucking great.
The stress.
Check it out, corn dogs. It's on Netflix.
Oh God, man. Come here for the weirdly niche recommendations. I'm still watching Superstore. The thing is, that show is awesome.
Superstore.
It's a bit too real as like as a customer service worker at times.
It was an interesting show because I don't know that is it still
it ended last year.
Okay. Yeah. But it produced shows through COVID and even and like addressed the retail workplace during that like that time, which I thought was really interesting.
The episode that I just finished was all about like order pickup and the fucking hell it is for the employees. Dude. Like getting like order. There's one, it's like an old lady trying to move a washing machine with like on a 30-minute timer.
Oh my God, dude. That's what I'm saying. Like it is a good show. It's like it really like paints some like real pictures of like a retail setting at times.
In the same way that I feel like Parks and Rec was written by somebody who at least had a fundamental understanding of government bureaucracy and how fucking stupid like local government can be. Parks, like Superstore, has to be written by people that have worked in like a Walmart.
Yeah, they've had to they had to have somebody on staff, like
exactly somebody, because those cutaway moments are way too real. Me and Kate were walking through a fucking Target the other day just to see a woman in an aisle looking for a popcorn maker, seeing there was no boxes, and then just ripping the display one off.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, are we watching an episode of Superstore right now? What the fuck just happened?
Fucking savages.
I know. I was like, what is going on? It's a bit too real, and I love that. Man. Oh God, that's a great show to watch. Hell, you know, what's another show that we've been watching? Maybe perhaps something that starts with M, because segues are difficult.
It's really great to watch it at night.
At MasterChef.
MasterChef. No,
we know Gordon Ramsay fix.
Moon Knight, you fool.
You know that dude. That's a watch. Like watch through podcast right there.
MasterChef.
MasterChef Junior or like fucking Hotel Hell.
Oh my God, dude. I like years ago, I thought it would be really funny to do a Gordon Ramsay, like because it's just fucking ridiculous. But yeah, like I feel like I watched 2 quarters ago, I watched all the MasterChef that's on Hulu because I was like putting it on while I did homework.
Have you seen MasterChef Junior, dude?
I haven't yet.
It's so good. It's so good. It's unironically like the most wholesome thing to watch.
That's interesting. Well, might find my new study show.
Great study show. It's great because it's a whole lot of nothing. Me and Kate, like in the depths of COVID lockdowns, would just play cards with MasterChef Junior in the background.
Perfect. That's
8 seasons went by like nothing.
Fuck yeah.
Oh God.
But
Moon Knight.
Yeah, Moon Knight, like an actual serious show. We got episode 2 that just come out, and we got some pretty like a handful of like pretty cool moments in this episode.
Yeah. My immediate thought, and I consulted a very smart Kate for this one. That sounded very patronizing. I actually really respected her opinion on this.
Amateur note co-host Kate.
Yeah, amateur note co-host Kate. Matinee Edition. I was gonna say alumni, but just host. or Old Heart Radio host, Kate Peterson, which actually, Amateur's Note, episode 2 coming very soon. We're going to be recording in a few days, or
Excellent.
maybe even tonight. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the first episode was stronger. That's where I was going with that really long tangent. The first episode was stronger, but episode 2, it feels like a reasonable build. You know, the mystery that was presented in episode 1 was really intriguing, and I think we might talk about this on our pod, but sometimes the mystery is more interesting than some of the solutions. Yeah, and as we're building, this is definitely like a necessary second step, but just a bit of a slouch from the first episode, in our opinion.
I mean, I kind of agree. I think like it was cool because you got, well, actually, this was the thing I was debating in my head was like, you know, you get the first glimpse of the live action Mr. Knight like get up in this episode,
is fully practical, and it looks good.
It's cool, but it's almost like the way, like the setting that they use it in is almost like I wish they would have saved it for something better. Because it's like, you know, he lands on the street and he's in the suit,
which
is
a cool transition,
by it, and then he just like does some fisticuffs with a fucking
with an invisible monster.
And it's just
which didn't work for me, by the way.
No, it really doesn't actually.
The only part of that sequence that worked, it would be much better if they just immediately cut to him like doing like the standoff thing where he's like talking to himself up and then punching it before he got his ass beat. But the fight of them, him and what's his wife's name?
Layla, I think.
Layla, yes, you're on the money. Him and Layla sort of just flailing around as their asses are getting beat by this invisible monster didn't really work.
It was a bit strange.
Yeah, it felt like it was going on for a while.
Yeah, and then that's what I mean. Where I was sort of like, I was really, you know, you knew that suit was coming, and I was really waiting for it. But I just wished we had something a little more akin to like when it happened. Yeah, I thought like he was gonna land outside, and then he was gonna like Layla was still inside, and he was gonna like bust up those stairs and like start fucking shit up on the way up or something like that, you know, in his Mr. Knight suit. And so that would have been way cooler to me. But you know, that being said, you also have some like really interesting story elements that kind of come into play here, where Ethan Hawke's what's his character's name? I can't remember. The main villain. Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke. Anyway, so you find out that basically the god that he's an avatar of, Amit, is like trying to pull some Minority Report style shit where it's like we're gonna
kill baby Hitler type shit, man.
Yeah, we're gonna pre-crime everything, and like, you know, and so it's like it's interesting to an extent, but it seems kind of like a storyline that's been done too much in a way. Yeah.
Well, I think I don't think it's been done. It has been done a lot, but I don't think that's that. I don't really have an issue with it. It rings more to me like they're doing what made Thanos so good, you know, where Thanos might have been an unhinged like brutalist, but the fundamentals weren't inherently wrong. It was just coming at it from the wrong perspective.
Yeah, you can see the logic, but that's also like, again, that's always the thing with any storyline that involves like, let's eliminate crime before it happens. It's like, you know,
but then you have the interesting aspect here where it's actually been effective. It's been like proven to be functional at this point.
Well, but this is also like a storyline that they even did with the Winter Soldier, right? Where like the whole thing that Captain America tried to stop was like the government thing that was like judging people's like ability to do crime before it happened.
But we can all agree that Hydra was not nice.
Well, but still, it's already like a storyline that's kind of been touched on in the MCU already.
Yeah, fuck, I forgot about that.
So it's like, you know, it's sort of like, again, it's a good science fiction story trope to use.
Yeah.
But I wish they would have gone for like, I don't know, something a little different. I don't know if it's like the strongest thing to me.
It can go both ways of like, there's tropes because they work. Yeah. But then because they work, they also get worn out.
Exactly. And but that being said, you know, it's not like the make or break for this thing, because what I'm hoping for is that we still have like like sort of bigger scale conflict. I really want to see like the gods like being more interactive. Like this episode, you see Khonshu like following
which is cool.
Steven or around Steven or Mark, whichever, it's Mark, I guess, technically.
Yeah.
Well, it's Steven in mind, but it's Mark's. It's actually Mark.
It's Steven.
It's
Steven, then Mark.
Well, it's Steven, but he is actually Mark Spector. Mark
Minutia.
Spector's the real person.
Yeah, Mark Spector's the real person. The body is
Steven's the figment, the personality that takes over.
Yeah. And I think it was fun in the end of the episode. We're getting the perspective shifted at this point. Mark's taking over. And I still think some of the interesting like back and forth between the personalities is fun.
It is. It's gonna verge on kind of like annoying though if it goes too heavy for like the rest of the series.
I think it can and I think they write themselves out of that as well, because they mentioned that it takes so much strength to do it.
Yeah.
And like maybe Mark's gonna be able to shut Steven up for a bit.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like I hope that there's that maybe like one episode where it's just one character focus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that would be good for the like other things that you're trying to accomplish with the Moon Knight character, rather than like just the psychological perspective.
Yeah.
But that being said, like I'm just like, it's just interesting because I'm just still intrigued as to where the story's going from here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I still have no real firm direction as to like what is going to be like the whole storyline for this season.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think it's going to be one of those like Ethan Hawke's villain's just going to get fucking thrown away, and there's going to have to be not like thrown away, but he's going to end up being insignificant in the actual plans of Ahmed. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see an actual like the resurrection occur, and then him just sort of get tossed aside.
Well, and because they have, I guess in this episode they did allude to like the gods, and they're like multiple avatars that they've had and stuff like that. That'd be interesting. Yeah, I mean that'd be wild though, because that'd be also kind of akin to like his comic book story, his comic book character, right? Where it's just like that one shot.
He was pretty insignificant in the end.
So that'd be interesting. But I can't wait. Like it's like something to look forward to every week to check out the new Moon Knight episode.
Yeah, I think this is what I was talking about earlier with like stylistic differentiation. I think people have a level of confidence and respect for the Marvel brand at this point, and Moon Knight's doing something different that, while it occupies the same universe, there's a level of disconnection so far, and there is a definite stylistic change in terms of writing, in terms of overall aesthetic, in terms of presentation. I think it's working. I'm really enjoying the show.
Yeah.
I think it's I still think Kate disagrees on me. She still thinks WandaVision was the best. I still think Loki was the best. Hawkeye was fun, but Loki was fucking great. And
I agree with you there. I think Loki's the best so far out of the series.
I'm excited to see how Moon Knight ends up panning out. And it's also, I think that this is worth noting, Moon Knight's the first character who is initially appearing in this that we can expect to see in like an Avengers film,
Yeah.
Like he's the first Disney Plus exclusive character that's probably going to make the leap.
That's interesting. That's a good point.
And like Miss Marvel and like She-Hulk and all those characters to come, like we'll probably see more of them outside of this medium, which is fucking crazy. And I really am. It's something that makes me really excited.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's a really good point.
Do you think we'll see the third personality at some point? The like New York taxi driver guy?
I mean, like, I would hope that you get something like that, because like that's again like the multiple different personalities that are housed within him is like something that's really interesting. But I wonder if they'll only stretch to like these couple because of like the perceived like difficulty of doing like of him portraying.
Yeah, they'll probably save
things,
that for later.
Yeah, but I mean, I would say I would prefer if they go for that though. Because
I would like them to. Maybe not yet though.
But we'll see. We'll see.
And an interesting change. It's like the Mr. Knight, Moon Knight. Mark Spector and Stephen Grant and the other guy are all their own personalities. Like they're changing Mr. Knight and how Moon Knight worked.
Yeah.
So it's like I thought that was interesting, but it works. I think the way that they joked about summon the suit. I summoned a suit.
Yeah, it is a suit. Yeah. No, it does. It kind of works because they're trying to keep a little bit of lightheartedness to the series, you know?
Yeah. And I think I'm enjoying it so far. Don't get me wrong. I think I might have been sounded a bit critical, but it was because the first episode was fucking awesome and the second episode was pretty good.
Well, and it's okay to like, you know, it's like we got to be critical because, and this is what I was thinking during this episode, because there were a couple moments where I do think like this, again, the CGI was kind of weak in this in this episode. And so I was like, but it immediately spurred this thought where I was like, is it weak CGI because I expect more from Marvel or because it's bad CGI? You know what I mean? And I think it's just because I have such a high bar for Marvel productions at this point. You know what I mean? That like if this wasn't and it was just something else, then I'd be like, oh yeah, okay, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah. Oh, if I saw it in a DC film, I'd be down.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you still hate the suit?
I mean, yeah, kind of. I still don't really like the mysticalness of it wrapping around and like, you know, all that. Like I wish it was a more practical suit for sure and not as supernatural, but that's just me picking bones. And I
like the pulling the moonerangs out of the chest.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of cool. I like, you know, you saw the shot from one of the trailers, but when he catches it, it's just sort of like cheese when he, you know, I think, but it's
there's a bit of queso going on there.
And there's a bit of queso.
I think it's hammy. It's just hammy enough.
Exactly. It leans into itself just enough, you know?
Yeah. I do think the CGI was mediocre. And that's where the lack of a practical suit is probably coming into play. Because the Mr. Knight, they're able to do that practical because it's a lot less demanding.
Yeah.
The stuff that they're doing with it. And I think the Mr. Knight suit looks sick. I thought it looked really good.
I agree.
And
I think it's fucking dope.
I really like the concept behind the like different design for the Moon Knight suit, but I can totally understand where you're coming from. Where like just because of CGI and budget, it's sort of going to be failed.
Yeah, it reminds me of like I mean, if like the comic book artist like I think what's his name, David Finch. He's like it's like the way he would design like Moon Knight. Yeah. Like that's what his comic book or his costume kind of looks like to me. Yeah, which is not bad. It's just you know,
I they're stylistic choices that even we disagree on. Like Miss Marvel having Green Lantern-esque powers,
having energy projection,
which
powers.
Actually people have slowed down the trailer now, and it looks like they're really like it's less Green Lantern-y, and she's actually just like making her limbs bigger with the energy. So
I would hope so that they change that. That's all I'll say, because they probably should. but if they don't, it's Marvel. They're gonna do what they're gonna do.
It's gonna be just fine.
Yeah, it'll be all right either way. I have faith that it'll work out, and you know, like that's the thing. It's like there's so many good things that they bring to the table with bringing these characters to life that you know, if one element doesn't really always hit, then like other like things kind of factor into like why like these series are good or these movies are good, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's super cool.
I feel like there's it's like the people that were because I remember there was a contingent of people that were like, I can't believe they changed Thanos from loving death.
Oh yeah.
I was like, okay, let's be real.
It's a hard sell to the mainstream audience, honestly.
Even in the comics, death was more into Deadpool. So
it's true, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh man. All right. Well, I will say, you know, this check out, like, you know, you got to keep checking out Moon Knight. Obviously I support checking out Old Enough because it's a really funny watch.
I'll probably give it a check.
It's just charming and funny.
If you haven't seen Superstore, fucking watch it. It's great. I think it is ridiculous that the show is not like everywhere like Parks and Rec and The Office.
Yeah, I think it'll resonate like in a few years. Like if you hit it
94% on Rotten Tomatoes for the entire series.
Oh, that's the last thing I wanted to shout out. You just
what is it?
Reminded me. We forgot to mention that currently Nicolas Cage has
Oh
a
God.
movie that's sitting at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes called The
Was it
Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
That's crazy to me. Pedro Pascal's in it as well, right?
Yeah, and I've heard that both of them are being hailed as just being excellent in the fucking movie. So
I didn't think that it was possible
Nick
for
Cage
Nick
playing Nick
Cage
Cage.
to be hailed as a good actor in the year 2022.
Oh man, the dude's a legend. The dude,
What is next? We're gonna see like the meteoric rise of like John Travolta or something.
Nah, dude, that dude's a Scientologist.
I mean, Tom Cruise has already done it.
Yeah, but I just think it's really funny because there was just reports like a handful of weeks ago about how Nick Cage did an interview where he was talking about all these all for the last few years he's been doing just tons of movies, and like all of that work was like helped him pay off all this massive debt that he had accumulated. And so he was he cleared all of his debt, and because he just made all of these movies, and he was like, I guarantee you I wasn't trying to phone it in any of these. He's like, I just tried to give it like my all as Nick Cage in every movie.
Yeah,
but
I was seeing him in some weird shit.
Oh, there are some bad ones for sure, but there's he did so many in the last few years. It's just crazy.
Last thing, Doctor Strange is due to come out soon. Pre-sale tickets exploded onto the scene. It's already going to make more money than the first one, just based on pre-sale. Did you see? I'm forgetting his name. I feel like a jackass. The fucking Evil Dead guy, Ash.
Oh yeah. You're talking about Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell. Did you see the fake picture he posted?
No, I didn't.
It's him. It turned out to be a fake. It's him being on set for Doctor Strange, and he's in the makeup chair getting put on the Doctor Strange goatee and stuff. And it was confirmed to be fake. I really hope it's not, because it'd be really funny to see Bruce Campbell as a Doctor Strange variant. It
would be awesome. That would be so fucking cool. There is confirmation that Bruce Campbell is having a cameo in this Sam Raimi movie, so that is fucking cool. That'd be dope.
More we see, there was that I don't know if you saw it, there was that minute long TV spot that got put out for Doctor Strange, and it's very unsettling.
Oh no, I didn't fucking catch it.
I was like, they're still leaning into at least the bit freaky type of aesthetic that Sam Raimi does really well. Definitely not horror anymore, like they were initially claiming.
Fair.
But it does seem unsettling. And it does really look like they're trying to set Wanda up as a villain.
Well, she could
we'll
be
see
the
what
big
happens,
bad.
man.
She could be the big bad.
Who knows? Dude,
Damn.
I'm excited. Right. I'm genuinely excited.
Yeah.
We'll have to make sure you watch the Batman first, though.
Yeah, I'll watch the Batman before I catch Doctor Strange. But
there you go.
I will still catch Doctor Strange.
Here's to it, man.
Well, this is episode 99. Next time you listen to our voices, we will be 100 episodes old.
Dude, I hope that the hot dogs listen. It feels like yesterday that we were recording on a single blue snowball in my incredibly echoey apartment in the middle of downtown Olympia.
Oh yeah. How far we've come.
How far we've come from watching all the Fast and Furious films ahead of Hobbs and Shaw.
Still worth it.
And fasting forward through half of Fast and Furious 4.
So I mean, you got to make up time somewhere.
You can't. We're not watching 30 hours of Fast and Furious, guys.
God. All right, well, we'll leave it there. Hot dogs, do yourselves a favor. Turn yourself into a corn dog. Corn dogs.
Oh baby,
you keep it up.
There it is.
Make sure you find the fucking podcasts. They're on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube.
Tell a friend.
If you have a friend in a different country, tell them to listen, because they can still get access too.
Yeah. Follow the Instagram, like our posts. Tell us what hot dog is in a foreign language. It doesn't matter if you're from a different country. Just hot dog in any language would be pretty cool. Then YouTube as well. Subscribe and put all the videos there. If you don't have, or if you know somebody that doesn't have a Spotify or anything, then send them to the YouTube. We'd appreciate it.
Exactly, man. It's on a good spread, I think.
There you go.
We're
checking all the boxes here.
All right.
Has the union mandated plug been completely finished at this point?
It has. I can check it off now.
All right, there we go. Listen to the AirPods as well, guys.
Good dog.